All right, it is time. It is 8 on the dot Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. Conrad Flynn here with you tonight. It is a sure pleasure to be here on this live hangout, and I'm going to just do a couple housekeeping notes here at the onset. For those of you who are signing in right now, thank you so much for being on time. We are going to get started, so it is a good time to turn off your distractions, cell phones, Facebook notifications, all that stuff. Make sure you have yourself a water and maybe a tea, something to write with, something to write on. And if you're like me, you might also enjoy having yourself a cocktail here to enjoy the evening and unwind a little bit after a very successful day. So welcome to it. It is time. I'm not going to wait. Some other guests are going to be signing in and jumping on a little late, and that's okay. They can join in progress, but welcome. Tonight, we are going to talk about how you can get that funnel up and done, yes, finally done in your business in about 30 days or less. That means up and running before the end of the year if you follow these steps. Now, tonight's broadcast is really special because not only is it some of my best material, but it is really live. This is actually really live. And for those of you who signed in on the broadcast I did earlier this week on Monday, can attest to, we had some technology issues. The Google Hangout crashed, led to a lot of weird technical problems. So if that did happen to you, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm very embarrassed by it, but that is technology. It does happen. So here's what we're going to do. Special encore presentation tonight. I'm going to warn everyone right now, if there's a technology issue or some problem with the Google Hangout, just hang tight, refresh the page, and my crack team will be on it and get that back up and running for you as soon as possible. But it is really live, so there's no safety net, right? Anything can happen. And also tonight's broadcast, this is really, truly unscripted. I mean, I obviously have some visual aids on the screen to help guide you through some of this material, and I have my own outline for my own reference, but honestly, what you're getting here is like raw, unfiltered stuff, so seriously, no BS. Before we dig in, I want you to know I got some contact info up on the screen, my live Twitter handle. I have the live feed ready, so if you want to tweet me directly, you certainly may, at Conrad Fly, and if you want to text me, you certainly may, at the phone number on the screen, 570-249-0854. It's real, and I do have my trusty BlackBerry with me. And also, the chat box below the screen you see, that is set up to come directly to my email. So you can fire in any questions you have in there as well. This is going to be interactive, so we are going to talk some Q&A. Got some time set aside later on at the end, and also going to do a little bit of interactive style, so it's going to be fun. Use the box below, comes right to my email, so I could share with everybody. If someone would be so kind as to hit me up in that box or as a text message, let me know that you can hear and see everything okay. That would be great. And it will also help us move along very quickly. I really appreciate that. Please and thank you. So this broadcast is definitely going to be pretty different from what most of you are used to. If you've attended any number of webinars or hangouts or online trainings in the past, you're probably a bit jaded, and that's okay. It's not your fault. The reason is, most people spend the majority of your time on a broadcast like this, just getting you sort of all hyped up and then making some super awesome, crazy pitch fest at the end. And the truth is, most of these types of broadcasts don't spend a lot of time on giving you real life actionable content. So I just want to say that's not what I'm about to put down on you tonight. All right. I'm going to actually spend the majority of our time together delivering to you some of my best stuff that you'll actually want to write down and plan on implementing. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a tiny bit of fluffy content that's going to help you with mindset and actually help you get rid of some of the blockages that's preventing you or holding you back from actually working on your funnel now. But the vast majority of what we're talking about tonight is hardcore stuff that you can do. And by the end of this broadcast, there will be no pitch fest. Seriously, there's nothing for sale here. So But because I know some of you will want some one-on-one help, I do have an opportunity for us to jump on the phone for a quick chat to see if it's a fit for us to do this together. But that will be the most casual offer you've ever heard on a broadcaster training like this, I promise. And if that opportunity is for you, take it. And if not, you're awesome anyway. And I celebrate your choice to implement this stuff on your own. So that's where we're at. I've got some messages here. I got Jamie. Thank you for confirming. Jamie, AT, Gary, Mary, Sam. I got tons of you saying, Conrad, all is A-okay, and I can hear you loud and clear. Super sweet. Awesome. So we're going to just dive right in right here. So we already got the big picture, what we're covering. Finally get your funnel done, 30 days or less. On the broadcast tonight, full disclosure, this is not for you if you're not willing to put the work in. You are already here to get an action plan, real life steps. So if you're afraid of the work, if you can't handle the commitment to take action and get this stuff done, don't sit here and waste my time or yours and collect more info. Seriously, it's the evening. You should be unwinding and relaxing, and I totally respect you for being a kick-ass entrepreneur and spending this time with me to work on your business instead of in your business. So I don't think that's you. But if you're a tire kicker and not committed to actually doing something with this content, just don't waste your time. Go relax, pet the dog, spend some time with the kids. Just don't sit here with me and collect more info, honestly. But like I said, I don't think that's you. And the reason why I like doing these hangouts in the evening is because it really fills my life and these hangouts with a certain type of person. And I think you know what I mean. It brings me frankly, hardcore go-getters, like true blue entrepreneurs, which are the people that I love and the people that I care about. So I already think you're super awesome just for being here. While we're on the topic of entrepreneurs, I want to talk about that for just a second, because I love entrepreneurs. Those are the people that inspire me, that really drive me to do what I do. Entrepreneurs are the reason why I get up early and stay up late, because I get a great deal of satisfaction serving people that the reason why they do what they do is because they really care about something. And that's a really big departure from, I'll just say, the business and industry in general. And I think that's really special. Most of you self-identify as entrepreneurs, and the lion's share of you are, rock star coaches and consultants. Some of the best I meet on trainings like this. But what does it mean to be an entrepreneur? And this is a great opportunity for you to chime in using the chat box below or shooting me a text message if you've already added me to your phone. But I'm going to just look for your feedback here, because I define this in a real specific way. Because to me, an entrepreneur really only has two jobs, only two. And they might not be the ones you think right now. So entrepreneurs that I meet are already some of the best people at doing what they do. But in my book, I'm going to say that you have two jobs as an entrepreneur, and that is, number one, to figure out what the most valuable thing is that you can do for someone else. And then number two, systematically deliver that thing to the people that need it. Does that make sense? Now, in order to make it sort of your life's commitment to be that and do that and embody that work, chances are strong that if you're like most people that I serve, you're going to have to drop a lot of sort of $10 an hour jobs. You might have to stop doing a bunch of stuff that really has its hooks into you. You might have to give up on, frankly, some of the shit that's holding you down. Because if you are the best at what you do, just own that thing and drop all the stuff that's not that thing. Here's the real deal. I'm going to show you some real life case study examples and some real life results on tonight's broadcast. And I'm going to just say my results are not typical, but that's not for the reasons you might think. Like, I'm not any smarter or really any better educated, but I'm willing to make the hard cuts. You know, I might be willing to take action that other people are not, but it definitely isn't because I'm smarter. And the stuff that I'm about to show you tonight, my only advantage is I've just done it a couple hundred times, so rip me off, please. Let's start to dig in a little bit. So here's really what we're going to cover tonight. Really 3 big core things that I want to share with you. And, you know, again, I'm going to try to point out as we go some key opportunities for you to take some notes. But if you have any questions as we go, feel free to share them with me. And I'm going to ask you to participate a little bit, and I'm gonna name names and shout some people out, so you're not going to be anonymous. And if one of these 3 biggest marketing mistakes are going on in your business right now, I'm going to ask you to self-identify, and I will throw you under the bus in front of everyone here. The accountability, I think, is a good thing. But I want you to share that with me. The second big thing I want to share is really the 8-step funnel that every professional service business has to have, absolutely must have. And I'm going to show you our start to finish blueprint that I really use to develop funnels for the clients that I serve. And again, I've done it hundreds of times. I've failed more times than most, so please rip me off, all right? If you want to take some screenshots, and even if you want to comment on them in live tweet or share them with me on Facebook, I'll be totally flattered. But take screenshots and rip this stuff off, okay? The third big thing that I want to share with you are really, once you have that funnel map, that plan, I'm going to share with you the 3 most important actions that you could be doing starting tomorrow, or, you know, after the live hangout tonight, if you're really ambitious, in order to actually just jumpstart getting your funnel done. And also, I want to say that at the end of the broadcast, I've got a couple cool opportunities. I already told you that if you want some help one-on-one, I've got an opportunity set up for us to chat after the broadcast, and we can connect as soon as tomorrow if you want some one-on-one advice on implementing a funnel and getting rolling. But I also got a cool download that I want to share with you a little bit later on. I'm not going to tell you what it is now, but hang on till the end, because if you ask me for it by email or text message, I've got a link that I'll send you to give you an additional resource that are going to help you out with those 3 massive actions that we really use for our clients that we serve here at the business full time. So moving on, a little bit about me just real quick. My life in marketing and advertising began here. In case you don't recognize this, this is actually the children's fever reducer section of a CVS pharmacy. And I stayed home sick from school one day. Maybe I was 10, 11, or 12. I don't exactly remember. And I was with my mom. I'd been to the doctor. Doctor says, fever reducer, wind up in this aisle. And my mom picked up one of the boxes from the shelf. And I remember looking at the array of boxes, realizing, you know, some of them look the same, some of them look different, some of them use some of the same images or graphics, and some of them even have the same words. Of course, all different brands, but there were striking similarities. And then I noticed a few of the boxes were very, very different from the others. And I remember my 10 or 11-year-old self looking at that shelf and saying, self, there's a reason why some of these boxes are different. And someone knows something that the other guy doesn't. Now, I didn't know who was right, but I did know at 10 or 11 years old that it was someone's job to figure out what made my mom take the action she did and what made her pick up the box she did. And I decided right then and there, by damn, I needed to know what that was. So fast forward many, many years later, I find myself working in radio, where I was a radio program director for about 10 years, which made me great at what I do, and it was a ton of fun. But I eventually left that. And right now, I help rockstar coaches and consultants really just get rid of their biggest stress, which is where their next client is coming from. So in the last 6 or 7 years, what I've been up to is I launched my marketing business. I've been lucky enough to serve a few major Fortune 500, major marquee brand names, which was a ton of fun. But ultimately, I found my true passion, that is serving entrepreneurs. And in that time, I've been fortunate enough to create a few millionaire clients. And in that same amount of time of launching my business and making those pivots in what is considered by most to be a huge economic downturn, I also lost 162 pounds. You could see on the screen, the former radio industry me is on the left, and the current today 190-pound me is on the right. And I realized that there is a lesson in this, and what I realized is some of the things that made me really impassioned and interested in growing businesses, and frankly, some of the things that made me good at that, were also some of the same things that made me able to make this sort of physical transformation in my personal life. And that really all came down to 3 little letters, KFC. And no, I ain't talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody loses 162 pounds on Kentucky Fried Chicken. No offense. KFC, this is an acronym. Great place to write this down or take a screenshot. And if you do, I'd love it if you tag me on Facebook. If we're Facebook friends, we should be. KFC, 3 simple letters, stands for know what you want, find out what you're getting, and change what you're doing until you get what you want. This has become my battle cry, my mantra, the thing that makes me act the way I act and make the decisions that I do. Is all of your life, every action you take and every decision you make is bringing you data. And if you know what you want that data to look like, you can make some real valuable changes. And that's the way I looked at my body. That's the way I looked at my career. That's the way I looked at my living situation, whether I was in the part of town I wanted to be in. And collecting data and evaluating that is the fabric of my decision making. And that's why it is the mantra that I apply to growing businesses and serving entrepreneurs. Data helps drive that decision. And if you know what you want and you can collect the data about where you are now and where you're getting, you can change those activities so that the data changes. Real life data. Fact, most of the stuff you've learned so far about marketing is dead wrong. So before I can show you what to do, let's just set the ground rules here, because this is about data, and there's a couple really unalienable truths about how people really act, which I'll talk about in a moment, that we need to get clear. First, when people buy, when they take action. You see, you've heard this before. Most people buy or take action with you after 7 or 8 interactions or touches, certainly not after the first one. So consider what that means for a moment. Most coaches and consultants don't not get the clients they want because they're not good enough, or they're doing the wrong thing or talking to the wrong people. They just don't have enough interactions built into their business. So that's the first truth. We're going to talk a lot about that here on the training tonight. Second one is people buy from people they know, like, and trust, which is the obvious one that you've heard before. But the reality is there's another side of that coin, and that is if you want to close people powerfully and lead them strongly, they must desire you. That's quite a bit different. And it takes a little bit of work to create that. We're going to talk about that tonight. But finally, the last big point that I have to make is if you're relying only on paid advertising to accomplish those first two things, well, that costs a hell of a lot of coin. And most of you can't spend that kind of money to get a few clients. And one thing that is a major pet peeve of mine is when small businesses or coaches or consultants, professional service companies, entrepreneur-run companies think that they could afford to act like a major lifestyle brand like Macy's, okay? And they make all their decisions not really knowing for sure if they're making more than $1 for every dollar they spend on marketing and advertising because they're collecting no data. And that just drives me mad. Listen, if any of this sounds like some place where you've went wrong in the past, either by not collecting the data you should have collected, or just by maybe going wrong and spending too much money where you maybe shouldn't have, or spending too much money not knowing for sure if you had a direct way to measure it. If that sounds like you, fire me a text message or shoot me something into the chat box. Say, amen, that's me. Hell yeah, or son of a bitch. Whatever gets you pumped up, all right? Share that feedback with me right now as we talk about the two things that marketing really is, because in real life, marketing really only is about two things. And I want you to take note because chances are the shortest path between where you are in the business right now and being on the phone with more real life prospects who are highly qualified, who desire to get your help, chances are that pathway includes a hell of a lot less complicated things than you think it's about right now. Because in real life, marketing is only about two things: psychology and math. Let's break that down for just a second. What does that mean? Well, first, let me tackle math. Here's the deal. Math is logistics, all right? It is stuff you could measure with data, and it is moving parts, cogs in a machine, stuff you could buy, tools, okay? Math is the parts. It is your CRM. It is your lead pages account. It's your landing pages. It's your buttons. It is your email follow-up. It's all that stuff. It is stuff that you could buy, and it is stuff that is sold, and it is stuff that there's training on. But no matter how good you get at stuff, that does not make your marketing work, and it does not change the game. No matter how good you get at writing headlines, no matter how good you get at figuring out the best time to send an email broadcast or post something on social media, or no matter how good you get at blogging, or no matter how good you get at running live trainings like this, or no matter how good you get at publishing videos on YouTube or running podcasts, that's not the stuff that makes your marketing work. First and foremost is psychology. Number one, this is where your marketing interfaces with real life people, okay? The math stuff is just what we use to deliver psychology. Psychology is the messaging. It is the basis of association. It is the who you help and why, how you'll enrich their lives, what you'll help them do. Psychology is where your business interacts with real life people like you and I, who have thoughts and feelings and emotions and problems and goals and a lifestyle that they aspire to, and shit that keeps them up at night and locked in frustration because shit's not working. And if you get the psychology right, you can have yourself a license to print money. Let me roll for you with the three biggest mistakes going on in most professional service businesses so that you can avoid them forever. I'm going to point out to you exactly what they are. I've got a quick Q&A question I'm going to share real quick because I got a message from Kevin who writes in that he really likes the concept of collecting data and testing, but he's really intimidated by technology. Conrad, is there a brain dead easy way to test and see if I'm in the game or not? I'm going to address this question right now because it's an awesome question directly related to what we just covered. Kevin, yes, there is a brain dead easy way to test this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to show you some examples here on this training. I might if we've got some time toward the end, so stick around. But I will tell you this. If that's something that you want to talk about one-on-one, take me up for that call offer at the end. And I will say the key is in using a Facebook ads testing process that is going to show you exactly what your people respond to. But there's some stuff you need to do before you can do that test process. And I am going to show you that stuff here on the training tonight. So hang in for that. But the testing process itself, I don't know if I'll have time to cover it in this training. It takes a little while to show you how to do it. It only costs like 10 or 15 bucks to do it. It's dirt cheap for the data that you learn and how good of a test you get. But I don't know that we're going to have the time to do it tonight. But now that you got me thinking about that, whoever's interested, if you email me or text me or just give me some love on Twitter or Facebook, I will consider doing a training about that too. But right now, 3 biggest mistakes that are holding you back right now. As I run down this list, guys, feel free to share with me if one of these is alive and well in your business right now. Just say which one it is and say, hey, Conrad, that's me. Just own up to it. Trust me, it'll be therapeutic. All right. So own up to it in the chat box below. All right. Mistake number 1. Most businesses lack a well-defined and irresistible offer. The key word here is irresistible. This is the key. Remember I talked about psychology? That's what makes your offers irresistible. That's what makes you desirable. Okay? Once you craft an offer that is irresistible to your target, instead of spending time and money all day long trying to hunt down new clients, you just put your irresistible offer out in the correct location where your clients already are, and they will seek you out from far and wide begging to get your help. Okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with the first steps and going to give you a download, a resource worksheet we really use here with my team to serve our clients in order to help you fix this, is crafting a truly irresistible offer targeted and mated directly to your buyer avatar. Remember that word? It's going to come up again later on tonight. Most businesses lack an irresistible offer, and that is the reason why they're unable to get the flow that they need. Number 2 is about the flow. Second biggest mistake, no ownership of lead flow. This is where we use a little bit of fancy marketing language, and you might be thinking, well, what the hell is that? Really easy to explain. Lead flow is the group of people who will buy from you next. Lead flow are people you have permission to talk to. And again, we'll break this down more later when I give you the actual funnel plan, the map, the outline. But lead flow, these are the people where the real money is. These are the people that are going to give you the permission to sell to them. These are the people who are looking for your leadership. A little while ago, I got contacted by a big, fancy business news show in New York City. And the reason why they wanted to talk to me was because Disney had just purchased Lucasfilm. And they also purchased Marvel Comics. and hundreds of so-called business experts were speculating about why this might be. So they were thinking Disney's creative team is washed up and they need the creative team, or they just wanted merchandising rights, and all these, wild, fantastical speculations. And the answer to all of that was no, 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 no. Okay. Disney already owned the lead flow. Disney owned the leads. And they were just buying more products to sell to the lead flow. Are you with me? Disney will sell to you when you're ages 2 through 10. Marvel Comics has got you when you're 10 through 16. But once you're 16, comics aren't cool anymore. But Star Wars is, so you'll be a Lucasfilm customer then. It's perfect and it's genius, and that is lead flow at work. And if you're like far too many entrepreneur-run businesses, chances are right now you don't have a plan to acquire and own lead flow. And because you don't know who to be making offers to. When you have lead flow, when you have a list of people who like you and trust you and are on that list for a very specific reason, because they want to solve a problem, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes, those are the people that the offers in your funnel work on. Okay? Most businesses don't own lead flow, so they're always trying to sell their stuff to strangers who've never heard of them before, or they're cold calling, or they're buying lists, or they're just begging people on Facebook or social media to come and do business with me. Hey, listen, do you like buying stuff from strangers or beggars? No, I didn't think so. But once you own the lead flow, not only does your income get much more predictable and reliable, but acquiring each new customer becomes far cheaper than it is for you right now. And at any point, honestly, guys, if you choose to sell your business in the future, the lead flow is what determines the value, okay? It's not the numbers that you think. It is not your revenue. It is not your payroll. It's not other assets. Lead flow determines the value of the business, because lead flow and owning leads is where your next clients are going to come from. That's what makes your business valuable, is there a provable source, a reliable source of new clients that are going to show up. All right. Number 3, an inconspicuous or non-existent customer return path. So what does this mean? This one is a little bit rough, because this big mistake is probably one of the big reasons why you feel like you're running on a hamster wheel right now with no end in sight. Most businesses leave a ton of cash on the table because they view acquiring a new customer as an end, when really it's just the beginning. If you're like most businesses, you have little to nothing in place that ensures your clients are satisfied and go on to buy more and recommend you. Listen, you can't leave when or how or why to buy up to your client. You need to control the path that they take inside of your business. This is called a return path. You need to be in charge, all right? You need to determine the steps for your prospect to go from A to B to C, to being a loyal client, to being a loyal client who loves you, to being a loyal client who buys your most expensive stuff, from being a loyal client who buys your most expensive stuff to one that refers other people to come buy your most expensive stuff, where you and they and the people they refer are getting the maximum amount of value they can. And everybody loves everybody because there's a lot of magical stuff going on. Okay? Listen, you got to be in charge of the path. No one loves customers as much as me, but for as much as I love them, I just don't trust them enough to leave all of that up to them. That's something that's got to be in your hands. You need to be in the driver's seat of the path. Putting a funnel in place is absolutely going to help you do that. But here's the deal. Once you put together some steps to correct these mistakes, that's when you can truly start having customers for life. The reality is once you understand the triggers or psychology that lead your client to buy, now you could build relationships with those customers where you could deliver substantially more value than you are right now, and in doing so gain financially. Okay? Because when you're delivering a hell of a lot more value, when you're delivering true transformations to people, chances are you can get paid what you're really worth and charge a hell of a lot more than you are right now. Hopefully you can see how important and powerful identifying these 3 classic mistakes are. But let me ask you this. Are you facing one or more of these right now? Because if you are, just fess up to it in the chat box or shoot me a text message and say, hey, not proud, but that's me. Just go ahead and share that with me. And I might even name the names. So don't be offended if I do. I already put you on notice. What I am going to do right now is just say, give me a second confirmation. Let me know you can hear and see everything okay that's on the screen, because I did get a message from someone that said they couldn't see what was going on the screen, but they could hear everything loud and clear. Everything looks good on our end. So if that does persist and you're having something weird going on, just go ahead and hit the refresh button. But thank you so much, everyone, for participating. Thank you, Gary. And who do we have? Mary says, Conrad, no lead flow. Well, Mary, we are definitely going to be fixing that tonight. So hang in there. So now you just learned the 3 biggest mistakes that are holding awesome entrepreneurs back. And I think you already suspect that these 3 big problems are all corrected by, you guessed it, a funnel. So that is what we're going to get into. What we really want to do here is start to rethink the way you relate to your client, all right? This is really important stuff, because here is the reality that we view our business now. Most of us view our business as black and white. You're either buying from me or you're not. You're either a stranger or a loyal customer. Okay? And because you see the world that way, you're either buying from me or you're not, you start to take on the attitude that, well, the reason why people aren't buying from me is because they don't know what they need, and or they don't know about blank. So now it becomes your job all of a sudden to, quote, get the word out, or just start educating the world about you or what you help people with. And if that's the way you feel right now, just pack it up, because you can't fix them. You cannot fix the world full of strangers. But you can fix your marketing to separate the world full of strangers from people with a problem. And then you could separate those people into the people that want to act on that, okay? I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the world is not black and white. In real life, it's complicated, right? Because in real life, there are many degrees that our relationships can be in other than you're either buying from me or you're not. In real life, there's other degrees our relationships can be in other than I love you or I have no idea who the hell you are. So I like to envision it like a ladder. Standing on the sidewalk looking at the ladder propped up against a glorious brick wall are total strangers. They're not on the ladder. They're just standing around. Some of them might be looking at the ladder thinking, I wonder what goes on over there. Moreover, I wonder what goes on when I get to the top of the wall. Some of them are not even looking at the ladder and they don't give a shit. Standing on the first rung of the ladder are leads. That's a handshake. It's a new introduction. Standing on the second rung is yet another interaction with you. The third is a second interaction, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth interaction, and so on and so forth. Standing up toward the top of the ladder, known as your business, there are clients paying you, and they love you. At the tippy top rung are your most loyal customers who buy everything they could get from you because they're getting so much value working with them, and there is so much transformation happening in their lives or in their business they can't get enough. They're buying your most expensive packages, your most expensive services, and not only are their hearts and wallets open to you, but they also love to refer their friends. Say, damn, you got to call Conrad. Hey, if you don't go to Conrad's next get-together, you're dumb. I actually had a client of mine say that to someone she knew. And the someone she knew did come to one of my events and was very happy he did. So if you two are listening right now, I'm going to give you a shout out to Wendy and a shout out to Keith. And the reason why I'm giving these shout outs is because it is the weirdest reason anyone has ever sought my help. Because Wendy told Keith, she said, Keith, if you don't hire these guys, you're screwing up. That's what she said. It's very, very interesting review. And Keith said, well, Conrad, it was the most interesting review I had ever received. So I felt I must do something about it. And Keith, I am sure happy that you did. And I really love having you in my business and serving you in a big way. It's definitely been a lot of fun so far. Look forward to many, many years left to go with you. But your business is like a ladder, okay? Now I want to actually jump into the actual process, okay? Because you've been sort of following my lead so far without knowing what the steps really look like. So thank you for doing that. But what I want to do right now is quickly walk you through an overview of the funnel process, and then I want to give you each piece mapped out step by step. Here's the deal. The first step to your funnel is traffic. I'm going to walk you through the steps and then break them down individually. Step 1, traffic. Step 2, lead generation. Step 3, conversion. Step 4, application. Step 5 is a call. Step 6, close. 7, deliver. And 8, referral. That is your new funnel representing the front end of your business. Let's break it all down right now. Number 1, traffic. Let's define traffic for a moment, because a lot of businesses that I talk to are really messing this up. Traffic is not about the volume of traffic I could get landing on my pages or landing on my blog or going to my Facebook page, because all traffic's not created equal. The goal of the traffic phase of your funnel is to own the traffic of people who have a very specific pain, problem, or desire, and you want those people to land on a page you own. Traffic is people that have a pain or a desire. It's not the general public, okay? You cannot build funnels for everyone with skin. You can build funnels for specific pains, problems, desires, hopes, goals, aspirations. So you got to pick one and own that traffic. And in order to own the traffic, you're going to have an irresistible offer, which I'll help you do in a minute. All right? Any questions on traffic? Chime in, leave your question in the chat box, because I'm going to reserve some time to get to as many of them as I can. I promise I will do the best I can to give you the most complete answers and spend the most amount of time answering your questions as I can. But that's traffic. People with a specific pain or problem. Takes us to lead generation. Okay, This is going to separate the people that have a specific problem or pain or desire and separate them into the people who want to take action on that pain or problem or desire. Take action, okay? People who are motivated to actually do something about it. Here's the deal. We don't want a lot of leads. We want the right leads. People who are interested or just tire kicking or, quote, want to find out what you have to offer, or people who say, oh, I'm always looking or I'm always learning. Those are bad leads. You do not want to fill your business up with those people. You want to fill your business up with people who want to take action. So when we create lead generating offers, we want to keep in mind that we want to write those headlines, those offers in such a way that it predicates taking action. The simplest way to do this is to offer to teach somebody how to do the thing they feel like they need to do. It's the easiest way to get it right. Okay? So this broadcast here tonight, this time we're spending together, I want to talk with action takers because I want you to use the content I'm giving you. So I did not title this broadcast the 8 steps of a successful funnel. I did not title this broadcast the 3 things to look out for to make sure your funnel doesn't suck. I titled this broadcast how to actually start doing this in 30 days. Okay? So the easiest way to make a lead generating offer that attracts people who want to act are by simply offering to teach them how to do the things they need to do in order to get where they're going or relieve the problems they have. Make sense? Once you have leads, now you can give them a conversion offer. Think of the conversion offer as the dating process for your clients. In your conversion offer, they've shown up because they were attracted to a message you placed somewhere, like on Facebook ads. That was step number 1, traffic. On a page where they became a lead and entered their name and email address in exchange to learn how to do something from you. That was step 2, lead gen. And now they're on to number 3, gaining like and trust. This offer takes a little bit more time to deliver, probably a little bit of time commitment on your part. It might look like a video series, or it might look like a live broadcast like this. This is where you get to show your new prospect what life would be like with you in it. And real specifically, we accomplish doing 3 things to your client psychologically, and you might even want to write this down, because this is what makes a great conversion offer great. Number 1, help them realize the reality of what's going on right now and how much trouble they're really in. So help them figure out really where they're at and what's going wrong. Number 2, help them realize the potential and possibilities of how awesome their life would be if they got rid of those problems once and for all. And then finally, 3, demonstrate the fact that you're able and willing to help them bridge that gap. That's what makes a great conversion offer, because in walking them through those 3 steps, you get elevated from the level of a trusted expert to someone whose help they desire. So that's why a strong conversion offer is so important. But remember, that's only step number 3. So if you don't get good at traffic, which is, again, getting the people with a specific problem or pain or desire in front of you, and you don't get good at lead gen, which is sorting out from those the people who want to take action on that, then you'll never, number 3, sort out from those the people who want to take action with you. Now, once people decide they want to take action with you in your conversion offer, that enables you to move on to step 4, the application. This is where you sort out people who want to take action with you and figure out who wants to take action with you right now. Now that we've got them to want you, The application process of your funnel forces them to jump through some hoops and sort of prove that they are really what you want. This is where you get to turn down the people you don't want, okay? And this is where people coming out of your conversion offer will be able to express their interest to take action with you right now by essentially applying for a one-on-one phone call, or what our industry calls a strategy session. This is something they'll apply for. So during your conversion piece, you'll make an offer for the application piece. Again, sorting out the people who want to take action with you right now. So in step number 3, conversion, this is like dating them. This is the dating process, showing them what life would be like with you. Step number 4 is now where you get to turn down the people who you don't want. Once you have the applications and you figured out which ones you do want that are coming out of your new funnel, now we go on to step 5, a call. This is a coaching call or a strategy session that's being promised. This is not and should never be construed as a sales call, because that's not what it is, not close. On this call, you get to find out what's really going on with your new prospect, and you get to ask them some questions to see if or how you can help. And in that conversation, you may mutually find that it's a fit for you two to work together. And if it is, you gain their permission to make them an offer. And when you gain that permission, you can move on to step number 6, the close. Once you've made an offer, your new prospect is officially in the closing process. Now, the reality is there's a lot of different ways to handle this, and one is going to be right for your business, because every business is different, and your close is the piece you're going to have to customize the most, okay? But here's the deal. The most important things I could offer you about your closing offer, or the actual offer you're making on the phone, is sell them results. The truth is, most coaches and consultants that I run into and that I get to serve, they're selling themselves almost like as hourly. Sure, it's a high ticket because it might break down to being worth between $80, $100, $200, $300, $400, even $500 an hour. But the truth is, they wind up serving their client in such a way where they are serving them by selling blocks of time and other shit on a big checklist, deliverables checklist. And that's not what they really want to buy. If you give them a big deliverables checklist to evaluate, now again, you're leaving it up to them if they're really going to get the results they want with you. So bottom line it for them. Make your closing offer a powerful offer about what you're really going to help them do. When I talk with new prospects, I don't make them an offer to build a bunch of stuff. Oh, my team is going to come in and write some emails and write some copy and design some ads. And yeah, my team is awesome. They're going to build some landing pages for you, and we're going to put it all together, and I'm going to work you through the whole thing and help you make the decision. Like, that's not what's for sale. Because at the end of the day, they don't want the stuff. A lot of people sell stuff. At the end of the day, they want the outcome. So you know what I sell? Simple. If you want to talk to one person per day who needs help with blank, I will get you there if you want help with that. That is the type of offer your ideal client wants. Test drive that and see how that feels. If you're in health and wellness, test drive that and see how that feels. Say, listen, I don't want to make you promises about the time we're going to spend together and all kinds of stuff, but I am going to make a results commitment to you. And if you want to insert the outcome they're looking for here, I promise I'll help you get there if you want some help and you want to get that done together. That's the thing they really want to buy. After they say yes, and after they made a mutual commitment to getting those results together, they might have some questions about the logistics of how you deliver that, and that's totally fair. You should answer them because your client deserves to know everything they need to know. But they're not buying the list of deliverables, they're buying the results. So always, always, always make your closing offer about results. When you do, you'll be able to close them powerfully, get them off the fence quickly, and get them to commit quicker and pay up front, enrolling into high-ticket coaching programs at a much higher price than you thought possible previously. Once they close, that's step number 7, the delivery. Once someone closed into your new offer, you need to launch them quickly by front-loading results for them. This keeps them excited and sidesteps any sense of buyer's remorse. Okay? So you need to have some steps already planned out so you can say to them on the phone when you're closing them, hey, if this is what you want, I move quick and I take this seriously. Work starts tonight. Work starts now. If you want this, you got to show me you're in. Here's how we're going to begin, and start delivering right away. Chances are in your delivery process, most of you need to start considering a more leveraged delivery where you serve a smaller number of people in smaller group environments and leverage your time. Group Facebook chats, private Facebook groups, group phone-in times on conference line bridges. These things work great to help you do a more leveraged service delivery so that you could stop repeating over and over and over again the hours of stuff that you do the exact same way with every client every time. Put 5 of them in a room together and say, here's what we're going to get done right now, guys. Welcome. You're all at the same stage. Let's dig in. I'm going to talk to you every Tuesday and Thursday. Here's the number. Call in. Everyone's going to be there. There's a private Facebook group. Share your progress. Everyone's going to be there. Here's my cell phone number. Text me when you need help. That is a leveraged delivery model. Okay? When you start wowing someone, now you have the opportunity to do a number 8 referral. This is where you got to build a strategy to encourage your successful new clients to recommend people just like them who want some of the same outcomes and some of the same results they want. i.e., people that your clients want to be around. Here's the thing. When you're letting the right clients, they're only going to refer people into your business that they want to be around. And so what starts to happen is the status of your clients and how successful they become and what they're willing to do and how much they're willing to put on the table and how big they're willing to invest into the game, that level keeps going up and up and up and up. Follow these steps in sequence in this funnel outline as I showed you right here. This is your front-end business, and doing this in this order will bring you the number of clients you want closing into your front end. The front end is the side of your business responsible for generating your primary and upfront income. This is the part of the business that your funnel will enact on. Okay? After a successful delivery of what you promised and the results you promised to your front-end clients, you're now qualified to do stuff like upsells, continuity, subscriptions, or other long-term programs, also known as the back end of your business. Okay? The back end is what gives you scale. Now, right here, you see the relationship between the front end and the back end of the business. The front end of the business, you're actually selecting for fewer people. You see how the funnel starts off with traffic, wide group, and then it takes them down the leads, much smaller group. Then it takes those down to the people who want to take action with you now, that's the conversion offer. That's an even smaller group. And then it narrows those down to the application, an even smaller group. It keeps selecting for fewer and fewer, so you don't kiss as many frogs and you wind up with quality people on the phone. But now once they come to the back end, now you're going to maximize to keep more because you've already selected them on the front end to be the type of person you want to be with. So the back end, now you optimize that side of the business to keep more and more and more of those people in your life long term. And most of the awesome coaches and consultants that I work with wind up finding that they are making twice or 3 times as much revenue serving half as many people. This is the relationship between the front end and the back end and what makes it possible. The front end is used to narrow the field to select for the clients you want. And at the top of the screen, you see the back end. That's used to retain those clients and maximize the value, ultimately serving a smaller number of higher value clients. Hey, remember that application part that I talked to you about? I'm going to give you a couple nuts and bolts because you're going to need some specific ways to manage that. Here's what that application looks like. Okay. It literally asks them some questions so you can figure out how to be valuable to them on the phone. And some real specific stuff has to happen as soon as they fill this out. And I'm going to show you exactly what these steps are. You could take some screenshots or write this down. Great place to send some questions in because I am going to launch into Q&A in just a few moments. And I know that it is 9 right now. We've been spending about an hour together digging into some questions and giving you some of my best content. I hope you're not tired yet because I still got a couple minutes of solid stuff for you. I didn't promise that this would be an hour. Unlike most trainings, this is live and unscripted and the real deal. So I did block off until 9:30, but I don't think we're going to go that late. But I will reserve as much time as I can for Q&A. But I got a couple more minutes of solid stuff. So here's the application. Again, take a screenshot. You could rip off some of this stuff, please do. But after someone submits this, there's a couple steps that really have to happen. I'm going to show you exactly what they are. Here they are on the screen right now. So the first step, people fill out the application, right? Once they fill out the application, they need to get a confirmation email saying that their application has been received and let them know what to expect. If you're going to get back to them, if and when you want to talk to them, you got to let them know the timelines. In general, the sooner the better, okay? Like a day or two, same day, within hours is best. So once they get an email confirmation, you have to have something in place to schedule their call. I get asked tons of questions about this stuff all the time. You could use technology. You could schedule it yourself. You could send them a text message. You could, whatever you need to do, but you want to have some one-on-one interaction with them as early as these guys filling out the application as possible. And then you want to schedule them as quickly as possible and make that time lapse between the application and your call as short as possible. Whether you do this by hand or whether you use something like a Vasita or a time trade, doesn't matter. You got to get it done. All right. And then finally, once they're scheduled, you got to send them an email confirmation telling them that they're scheduled that requires them to respond back to you to confirm. Make sense? That's your funnel plan. Big disclaimer right now, because absolutely none of these steps are going to do diddly for you if you don't start acting, okay? None of that stuff you just collected, it's all going to get dusty on the shelf of your brain if you're not willing to take some actions. So what I am going to do for you right now is stop everything and give you a couple of those actions first that will enable you to do a fast launch into your own funnel building very quickly. Here it is. Step number 1, you got to know exactly who you're serving. I mean, you have to have your picture perfect client defined so specifically that you could literally sit across the table with them and have a hypothetical conversation. I mean, high level of specificity here. Okay? This is the real deal. I've got a gift that's going to help you do this. And if this is something that you want, you can send me an email right now using the chat box below. That's set up to come directly to my phone. and let me know that you want this free gift, because I've got some planning sheets that we really use with all of our clients to help you narrow this down. You've got to specify exactly what are the problems, the lifestyles, the stuff really going on with them psychologically, because that is the stuff that really triggers their behavior. That's the stuff that really gets them to act. So you need to acknowledge all that stuff ahead of time, because if you're like far too many businesses, your current target is anyone who buys blank or anybody who blank. That's not a target. Okay. I mean, listen to the words that I use. You know, I serve the best coaches and consultants who serve high ticket clients. Those are my people. When I make my life about serving that person and bringing the most amount of value into their life I can, finding the correct people for me to talk to and getting in front of them becomes very easy. But not only does getting in front of them become very easy, but creating offers for them that are well mated to what they want also gets very easy. And to jump back to a question Kevin had earlier, Kevin, doing this well is what also enables you to do a great test and test quickly in order to learn what the correct offers really are for your target. You have to do this first. So again, fire a message into the chat box if you want this. I already have a couple of you telling me absolutely yes. Got a message from Clara saying, Conrad, I need that. Message from Mary. Conrad, I am definitely interested. Thank you, both of you, so much for sharing that with me and responding and participating here tonight. I will send that off to you in an email shortly after the broadcast, so I thank you. So that's the first thing you need to do to start building your funnel is, number one, go through this brainstorming exercise and build out this profile of the exact person you need to be targeting. That is bare bones, absolute positive step number one. Without that, you're not going to be able to generate the traffic. And without that, you're going to be hard pressed coming up with a compelling lead magnet offer. You're going to have a real hard time generating leads. All right. To step two, second big action is simply create funnels that serve that person. Listen, the whole funnel, steps 1 through 8, building out that strategy, that funnel is a minimum wage employee that keeps you on the phone with the people you need to be talking to in order to serve the people you want and generate the amount of revenue that you want. So you have to build out those steps. If you need some help with that, hang on tight. But I want to show you some real life data. I've got permission to show this stuff, so I'm giving you their full names and the whole deal. Because when you get good at those first two actions, number one, identifying your ideal target, and number two, building a funnel that really serves their needs, you get results like this. Vlad tells me, Conrad, we just implemented some of that funnel changes on the landing pages and upsell pages. 200% immediate ROI on my daily ad spend. That's what happens when your target and the parts of your funnel are well coordinated. Another one, 200% in sales increase month over month from last year. It's all because of the funnel and making the offers inside the funnel directly correspond to what your target really wants, which you can only do when you have a really crystal clear picture of who that is and what they want. When you have a really clear picture, you can do Facebook ad tests like this, where you're getting 12-cent clicks. Listen, 12-cent clicks and 4+% click-through rates only come from having a crystal clear profile of your target. Same thing with this. Would I like to have a 6% click-through rate on anything? Hell yeah. Would I like to spend $11 and get 8 leads? Hell yeah. That sort of results are only generated when you have a clear lead generating offer that is well tested because you've used actual data and it delivers exactly what your prospect wants. Would you like to have a conversion offer that gets you applications from 31% of all the people who attend? This is real life data for one of my clients that we work with ongoingly in Atlanta. 367 people attended some live trainings that she did online. 116 of those people applied to talk with her one-on-one on the phone. Now, not all 116 applications were accepted, and of the ones she decided she was willing to talk to, not all of those actually made it on the phone with her for one reason or another. As you can imagine, there's cancellations, there's rescheduling, people drop off because they get scared. But if she accepts 60 of those applications, talks to 40 to 50 of those, with a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 close rate on a high ticket coaching package, what kind of revenue do you think you would generate if those kind of numbers were running alive and well, repeatedly and predictably inside of your business right now? So once you have that target identified, and once you set up the offers in that funnel for them, you have to, number 3, you have to KFC that shit. Implement, test, measure, refine, learn. Funnels aren't done. Remember, KFC, know what you're getting. Be able to measure it. Or know what you want. I'm sorry. Know what you want. That's your decision. Find out what you're getting. That's your data, your measurement. And then finally, C, change what you're doing till you get what you want. It's the only reason I was able to do this. Across the 6 or 7 years when I launched my business, I was able to make this transformation in my life because I was committed to implementing stuff, testing stuff, measuring stuff, and refining stuff. And that fact is the same thing that made me successful at losing 162 pounds, but it also made me successful in launching my company, and it made me successful in generating results for my clients. KFC. So now that you know the steps, here's the real deal. If you want some help to map out your funnel and implement some of this stuff quickly so you could just do your awesome thing that you do with more awesome people who want it, then I'd love to help you. So here's what I got. If you're truly magical and you can really help people, and you really want to just start implementing this stuff that I showed you quickly and easily, here's your first step, all right? You need to map out the funnel before you can build it, and that's something that I'm willing to help you do. With a funnel that leads to your irresistible offer, what you get is essentially a license to print money. It is so important, and I hate wasting our time for you to learn all these cool tactics without being able to implement. And that's why I'm setting aside a time for you to help map this out in your business. So if this is something you're serious about acting on, here's what I'd like. There's going to be some work to do, obviously, after we build out that map. But here's specifically what we can do together. We could jump on the phone one-on-one for a quick call where I can help you outline that stuff. We'll map out the funnel. I'll help you. That'll get you started. And I'm not going to get you all hyped up and try to get you pumped up because you've listened to me, you've seen the examples, you heard the story, you saw the process, and you're here right now. So you know what I'm saying works, and I don't have to convince you. So what I want you to do is tell you exactly what's going to happen if you take me up on this offer for a one-on-one call. First, we'll dissect your business and we'll talk about your buyer persona or your client avatar. That is your profile of your ideal client you need to be targeting. I'll help you make sure that target is precise and clear, okay? Then we're going to talk about your offer and make sure it's truly irresistible. Most of the people that I do this conversation with, they tell me this is the most powerful part of the call. And personally, I think the avatar is more important. Either way, you need both. You're going to just think the offer is more fun. And it's testable, it's measurable. And if you want to learn how to do that, take me up on this offer at this URL, and I will walk you through how to do that. I've also got a link up on your screen right now over on the right-hand side. There's a big link that says, click here to fill out your application. So if you want to apply to do this one-on-one call, use the bit.ly link I've got up on the screen, or click the link that I have set up over on the right-hand side, or for some of you on the size of your screen, it might be below. You'll see it there. So those are the two things we're going to do on the phone call. And once we have these two things, then it's actually super easy for us to map out your funnel. Now, here's what I wanted you to do next. So naturally, having a funnel map actually allows you to just have a game plan to guide your business to where you want to go next and getting the number of calls that you really want. So if you're serious about putting some elbow grease in this and you want to start working on actually attracting new phone calls here within the next couple weeks, go to this URL. There will be an application form for you so I can learn more about you. I will also then send you that free gift I promised to help you crystallize your avatar. That'll help our call be a hell of a lot more productive. And once I receive your strategy call application form, I'll go over it, and either myself or someone else from my team will reach out to you via a text message. And from there, we'll set up a time for us to just jump on the phone and chat. So we'll get this puppy mapped out. Here's why it's a good decision. If you like the plan and we both think it's good, the funnel that we come up with, the decisions we make on the call, if it sounds like it's a fit, then we could talk to you about some of the programs we've got going on here on our end and see if something here makes sense for you. And then you can ask me any of the questions that you want about what we do just to make sure it's a fit. So I like to do this because it gives me introductions to amazing and inspiring entrepreneurs. And this is something that I offer. Full disclosure here, there is no obligation to do anything. If it's not a fit, there is no cost to any of this. But if you're serious about getting this done, jump on the phone, no obligation. We'll chat one-on-one and just map it out. So please use that URL on the screen right now, or use the bit.ly link that I have on the slide there for you. And we could be chatting one-on-one and mapping that out in your business as soon as tomorrow. So here's the deal. Here's what I got right now. Got a couple minutes, and a lot of you spent a lot of time here with me, hanging out, asking great questions. I am going to leave the last few minutes for you, and I invite you to ask me anything you wish at this time, and I will serve you in this time the best way that I can. So if you have a question and you'd like to text it, chat it, or tweet it to me, I've got my BlackBerry handy. Yes, I am a BlackBerry user and proud. Apple computers, BlackBerry phones. I'm a shareholder in both, loud and proud. Hope you know it. But it's all going to come directly to my BlackBerry. I'm happy to take your questions right now. And I got good stuff. Okay, real good question from Ray. This is a great question. Ray, here's the deal. Ray asks, Conrad, it sounds to me like you're using Facebook ads as a platform for testing offers and for generating traffic. Am I correct in this feeling? How do you go about doing it? This is a really good question, Ray, and I'm going to just say this. You got a KFC, right? You got to measure, you got to test and you got to make some adjustments based on what you learn there. So this, what I'm about to tell you, is really important, because I'm going to dodge your question and then I am going to answer it. There's no such thing as a good ad platform or a bad one. There's no such thing as one that works or one that doesn't work. And listen, I used to work in direct response radio advertising world, and I used to be in the agency industry there, where I served a lot of big Fortune 500 and major marquee brand names. It was a lot of fun, but ultimately it didn't fill my life with entrepreneurs. So that I knew that wasn't going to last for me. But in that world, I used to get asked all the time, Ray. I used to get asked all the time, does radio still work, or does print work, or does TV work, or do billboards work, and all these questions. And the reality is it all works, but it all works different. And so who it will work for will be different. Okay, so it all works. So you have to test and measure. If I found out the best cost of generating leads, the right leads for you, was by putting your lead generating offer on the back of a milk carton or a soup can, that's where I'd put it. Okay. That being said, I'm going to give you the shortcut right now. The shortcut is, yes, you should be using Facebook ads to do this. If you're totally green and you want some help doing that, Ray, or anyone else hanging out here with us still, that would be a great reason to click that link on your screen and take me up on that opportunity to do that one-on-one call, because we could definitely help you out with that. And we've got a program here where we could get your stuff up and running and tested within a few days. That gives you immediate answers about what works and what doesn't work, and it's actually a lot of fun. But the real deal is the barrier to entry, the amount of money you got to put in out of pocket up front to test and prove your offers using Facebook ads, is very low. Now, I'm not saying you should go there forever. It's not a good idea ever in business to have all of your eggs in one basket, but it is a really effective way to test, and it is an effective way to even roll out and scale and to keep the business growing. But once you learn what offers work there on Facebook ads, you can and should start to roll them out to other platforms. And I will tell you that of all of the ad media that you hear about today, I'll say across the entire board of all of the coaches and consultants that I serve with my team on an ongoing basis, the most popular places where we buy traffic are, in this order, Facebook ads, print, LinkedIn, and Google AdWords. In that order of volume: Facebook ads, print, LinkedIn, and Google AdWords. Probably not the order you expected, right? The truth is, a large number of my clients are in print, but not the kind of print you might be thinking of, not newspapers or magazines. Many of them are in trade publications and trade journals and industry-specific publications that have extremely targeted reader bases. Those things are still a huge traffic generator for a lot of people that we work with. So again, if you could test it cheaply using Facebook ads, it's a win. And if you make it win, it does make sense to roll it out to some other platforms. Great question, Ray. Thank you so much for asking that. Getting a lot of really awesome feedback here and getting a lot of love. So flattered by your comments. And everyone who asked so far, I absolutely promise you that I will do my best in order to get you that worksheet that I promised you very quickly after tonight's live hangout concludes. And then I also will invite you to fill out that application, and I will get back to you very quickly via a text message. I've got a couple more moments left to address some live questions, and I have one from Kristen. Oh, this is a good question. Conrad, at the beginning of tonight's broadcast, Kristen writes, you mentioned it would be a good time to grab a water or even a cocktail, and I was wondering if you were drinking a cocktail and what it was. And yes, Kristen, I really have been sipping on a cocktail during tonight's hangout. It is my favorite cocktail of choice. It is a Manhattan. The recipe for a Manhattan is 212, the area code 4, you guessed it, Manhattan. It is 2 parts bourbon, 1 part sweet vermouth, 2 dashes of bitters. It is one of the oldest cocktails ever created and by far my favorite. Kristen, thank you so much for asking. And now you have the recipe so you could recreate that yourself. Great questions, guys. Thank you so much for digging in and taking advantage of this time that we've spent together. I am going to hit refresh here to see if we got a minute or two for a few more. And it looks like we're good. Guys, great questions. Thank you so much for all your participation tonight. That link is still up on the screen for you there, and I will leave it there for you for just a couple minutes longer as I finish my drink. Doesn't look like anyone has any other questions, but I sure do appreciate you taking your time out to spend this time with me, and I'd be extra flattered if you shared a little bit of Facebook love with me, especially if you include some of the most powerful outcomes or takeaways from tonight's broadcast. And also, if you would please include any screenshots that you took, I'd be super, super thrilled and flattered by that. So click on that link on your screen or use the bit.ly link that I have displayed for you to fill out that quick application form now and schedule your one-on-one chat. I promised I'll text you back real fast, probably even send some of them out tonight. And then we could be jumping on the phone even as soon as tomorrow so we could dig into your business and talk one-on-one. This sure has been fun. Thank you so much for playing along with me here tonight, and thanks for participating. You've all been awesome. Keep on the lookout because I really love doing these. They're a ton of fun, and I promise I'll be doing one again soon. Have a great night, everybody.